T'es RM1, Nord-Sud 98.9, Centre 97.3, Est-Ouest 91.7. RM1, la radio nationale.
It's 9 o'clock. The news with Eris Stewart. Good morning.
Good morning, Patrice.
Here are the headlines.
Death at Melrose Prison raises questions after inmate dies following violent altercation with another prisoner. Debate on mixed schooling model intensifies as Education Ministry reaffirms that no final decision will be taken before nationwide consultations conclude. Electoral transparency takes centre stage in Parliament with Prime Minister defending the current system. Roadmap towards cannabis decriminalisation becomes clearer as government confirms a legal brief due in January and a full master plan scheduled for mid-2026. Mauritius prepares for a major shift in road safety as debate begins on the points-based driving licence. Former CTU head Lil Ramdial faces fresh legal trouble, arrested again under a provisional charge relating to the Official Secrets Act. In world news, Venezuelan opposition figure Maria Corina Machado's Nobel Peace Prize hangs in uncertainty as questions remain over her whereabouts. And in sports news, Mauritius athletes travel to African Youth Games in Angola as 48 athletes get ready to compete across 12 disciplines with Olympic qualification at stake. We start this morning where an inmate at Melrose Prison lost his life yesterday. According to our information, he had been involved in a violent altercation inside the Kestrel unit where he was allegedly assaulted by another inmate. He was treated at the prison's medical unit, but his condition reportedly deteriorated. He was then referred to Jawaharlal Nehru Hospital where he passed away. Contacted for comment, the Commissioner of Prisons, Dev Joku, said he had not yet reviewed the report on the incident. His reaction is expected later today. And moving to Parliament, as the debate over the mixed model in colleges resurfaces, the Ministry of Education is urging caution. No final decision has been made. Mahen Ganga-Prasad reminds Parliament that consultations which began on December 8 will continue until January 20, 2026. More details with Rajmila Sitamoni in this report voiced over by Ashi Bachu.
No final decision has yet been taken regarding the abolition of the mixed school model in secondary colleges. This clarification was given in Parliament by the Minister of Education, Mahen Ganga-Prasad, in response to a question from MP Annabel Savabadi. The minister explained that consultations with various stakeholders on the mixed model and on admission procedures in colleges began on Monday, 8th December, and will continue until January 20th next year. Afterwards, the public will be invited to participate in an online survey. According to him, a blueprint will be drafted based on the in-depth consultations held during the Education Assize last April. Mahen Ganga-Prasad also noted that several concerns were raised during these consultations, including numerous disciplinary issues reported in certain academies after their transition to mixed school status, as well as a relative decline in academic performance among students in these institutions. Other concerns mentioned include the lack of prior consultation on the mixed school model under the former minister and the absence of a clear pedagogical justification for converting these institutions into mixed schools starting from grade 10. Participants also raised issues linked to student adaptation and school culture for those moving from single-sex regional schools in grade 7 to 10 into mixed institutions from grade 10 onwards.
We move on with the private notice question, which brought back to the forefront a sensitive issue, transparency and fairness in our electoral system. In response, Prime Minister Navin Ramgoolam defended the current framework while announcing for the first time that political financing rules, long considered outdated, will soon be revised. This update with Ashi Bachu.
The Prime Minister relied on the Representation of the People Act, the law governing elections since 1958, to respond to criticisms from the opposition. From the outset, he sought to reassure the public, stating that the integrity of the electoral register is not under threat. According to him, the law already provides a full range of checks, objections, claims, and even avenues of appeal up to the Supreme Court to safeguard every voter registration. It is a robust system on paper, though often considered heavy and opaque, but the most significant announcement came on a different issue: political financing. The Prime Minister acknowledged that the current spending limits, 150,000 rupees for a candidate of a political party, no longer, as he puts it, reflect at all the reality of modern political campaigns. These thresholds, unchanged since 2001, are regularly criticized as unrealistic by experts and political stakeholders alike. For the first time, the government has therefore announced that the rules will soon be reviewed to better regulate electoral spending. The current act sets strict limits, and exceeding them is illegal and punishable, as specified under the Representation of the People Act. On the matter of electoral corruption, the Prime Minister also adopted a firm tone. The law clearly prohibits bribery, vote buying, and any undue influence. However, on the ground, both political actors and observers note a persistent gap between the rules and their enforcement. As for the possibility of early elections, he referred to the legal procedures. Only the President can issue the writs of election based on the government's advice and within strict timelines set by law. In summary, the government defends the electoral system as solid, but concedes that political financing must be completely reformed. A long-awaited change now tied to a crucial objective: restoring trust in the electoral process.
And during the Prime Minister's question time, several questions were asked regarding financial investigations, the stability of the rupee, the situation in prisons, and cannabis reform. An update with Shehzad Juman.
Questioned by MP Seaburn about the value of the Mauritian rupee, the Prime Minister criticised the previous government's policies, which, according to him, led to a 46% depreciation of the local currency against the US dollar between 2014 and 2024. Dr. Naveen Ramgoolam added that the former administration had also printed 180 billion rupees to finance its expenditures, a decision that he said had a significant impact on inflation and purchasing power at the time. The Prime Minister stated that his government has introduced several measures to stabilise the value of the rupee. These include a new payment method for the acquisition of villas under the Property Development Scheme, the requirement for certain companies to pay their taxes in foreign currency, and the implementation of the tourist fee, among others.
And staying with Parliament, a technical committee is examining the file on the decriminalisation of cannabis, and its legal brief is expected in January. PM Naveen Ramgoolam also said that the draft master plan on this issue will be submitted in July 2026. The session also addressed questions regarding Diana Vartam Limited, owner of the Maradiva Resort, as well as the strengthening of MBC Rodrigues. We take a listen to this update.
Two questions were put to the Prime Minister by MPs Jaman and Bijan regarding Diana Vartam Limited, the company that manages the Maradiva Hotel. Dr. Naveen Ramgoolam stated that the Financial Crimes Commission is currently conducting an investigation into two loans obtained by this company from the SPM and the MIC. MP Juval questioned the Prime Minister about the decriminalisation of cannabis. For his part, MP Francois asked the head of government about efforts to strengthen the capacity of MBC Rodrigues.
And finally, still in Parliament, debate on amendments to the Road Traffic Act aimed at introducing the points-based driving licence system began yesterday. The bill was presented in second reading by the Minister of Land Transport, Osman Mohamed. The minister reminded MPs that the point system will come into force in January 2026. He stressed that the goal is not to generate revenue through fines, but to restore discipline on our roads, particularly among repeat offenders. Discussions on this are set to resume on Friday at 3:30 p.m. And finally, in other news, Lilram Dial has been arrested again. The former head of the counter-terrorism unit, already suspended following his provisional charge in the reward money investigation, now faces a provisional accusation of breach of the Official Secrets Act. Investigators are searching for a code linked to a device found in his CTU office. Dial claims he forgot it and says that although the device was in his office, he did not use it and that it was the National Security Service that operated it. As he was about to be placed in custody, he complained of ill health and was taken to a clinic for examination. Doctors, however, concluded that hospital admission was not required. However, this morning confirmation was received that he is currently being seen to medically. And it's 9:09. You're listening to RM1, where we move to international news. Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Corina Machado is scheduled to receive the Nobel Peace Prize in Oslo on Wednesday, despite a decade-long travel ban imposed by authorities in her country, and after spending more than a year in hiding. However, her current whereabouts are unknown, and it is uncertain whether she will be able to attend the ceremony. President Nicolas Maduro, in office since 2013, argues that Trump is trying to overthrow him to exploit Venezuela's oil reserves and insists Venezuelan citizens and armed forces would resist any such attempt. Machado is due to receive the award at Oslo City Hall in the presence of King Harald, Queen Sonja, and Latin American leaders. And finally in sports, turning to Africa, where the African Youth Games begin today in Angola and will run until the 20th. Mauritius is represented by a delegation of over 60 people, including 48 athletes competing in 12 disciplines. Part of the delegation has already travelled to Angola, ready to defend our colours. From today, events begin in athletics, as well as karate, table tennis and badminton. In athletics, gold medalists will qualify directly for Youth Olympic Games scheduled next year in Dakar, Senegal. That's all from me this morning. Thanks so much for listening. Stay tuned now to the Intimate playlist